published soon in 2000 January. In January, it will be published. So we are in a process to get the data and develop the 3D model for the Dhaka city. So that is a start, but in future we have a plan to develop for other cities like Sylhet and Chittagong also. So that is my answer to that question regarding the 3D model. Then there, okay, let me check what are the other. There's only one I can see, but I think that there is other source.
It's a question from Dr. Adichat Surinkam. Yes, please.
Okay. Yes.
Thank you. Professor Ansary.
Yeah, please.
You mentioned about 3D model.
Yeah.
Being made under Bangladesh, especially the Dhaka.
Yes.
Do they have any information on MT? You know about MT, magnetotelluric application.
Microtremor?
Magnetotelluric application, MT, we call MT. Electromagnetic.
Oh, so I understand. It is more with the geology. I understand. I know about it, but we have not done that one. What we are doing is, in fact, Geological Survey of Bangladesh. We work with them. So back in 5 years back, we have a small project with Geological Survey of Bangladesh together with German Geological Survey. It is called, I forgot the name of the German organization, but it is a German Geological Survey. So we developed this kind of 3D model together with German organization for a small area. So during that time, we used shear velocity, then SPT profile, and electrical resistivity. But the ML thing we have not used. But I know there is a term like that in the geological documentation, but we have not done this one. But we are developing our 3D model based on soil profile, shear velocity, and resistivity.
Yeah, because the drill hole may be too shallow, some part of them.
And it's true. We have gone up to maximum 80 meter. 80 meter because we defined 80 meter. Why? Because it is a shear velocity thing. The shear velocity, when it reaches 400 meter per second, we defined it as the engineering bedrock. So we have gone up to that depth. But real engineering bedrock in Dhaka city is 15 kilometers below, far below.
Yeah, thank you. Because I'm not sure I have enough information about the subsurface geology of Bangladesh, but as far as I know, I've been there 2 or 3 times, and I saw that most of the area are located on the soft sediment, even the place along the borderline with Myanmar. So most of the landslide effect on the soft soil. And
it's true.
For
soft
sure,
soil is a major challenge here. But generally for Dhaka city, in some areas up to 30 meter extremely soft soil. Below that we have no rock are there, but relatively steep soil and deep sand layers are there. We called more than 50 SPT value. It is hard, relatively hard.
So, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Dichat. There are 2 questions from Singapore. Professor Ansary in the chat box.
Let me check.
I can read for you.
Oh yes, I have got it.
Yeah.
Singapore, Dr. Popo has mentioned.
Professor Wong Popo, yeah, the first one. Can you comment on the possibility of a large submarine landslide in the Bay of Bengal to generate a tsunami affecting Bangladesh? That is the first question.
Okay, I will try to answer that one. Okay, let me try to answer that one. Then we will go to the second one.
All right.
So we have undertaken one project back in 2009 to 2012 under the CDMP, Comprehensive Disaster Management Project, together with the Geological Survey of Bangladesh and also some of the Singaporean. I think Kadisia. I don't know whether you know Dr. Kadisia. Basically, he's an American professor, but now working in Nanyang Tech. So together with them, with him, and there is other teams, we worked with the tsunami issue in the Bangladesh coastal area, and we have found that we have a continental shelf almost 200 kilometers from our boundary. So when the 2004 tsunami happened in Indonesia, so Bangladesh was not affected that much. One of the reasons is this continental shelf because it has the shallow water depth over there, and it goes up to 200 kilometers. So although there is a chance of tsunami, and back in 1762 we have a large tsunami, that is people say about it because in documentation it is there, written there. Back in 1762 there is a large earthquake in the coast, and it affected some of the parts of the Chittagong areas. But still, the current research, they say that there is a very little chance of tsunami. But what you are mentioning is landslide, because tsunami can also be generated by underground landslide. It's true, but so far we didn't have any information regarding the submarine landslide because we lack that kind of data and that kind of research in the sector. So the thing is, we know about there is a possibility of tsunami in Chittagong coast where the 1762 earthquake happened, but regarding the large submarine landslide in the Bay of Bengal, we do not have much clue, and we have not done or carried out any study to establish that one or to find that one. Regarding your second question, climate change related sea level rise considered yesterday on definitely. Definitely climate related sea level rise is a big issue. Although I do not have much information regarding that one, but we have a team. There's a professor in BUET, Professor Saiful Islam. He did a lot of research, and we have a climate cell at our university. They are doing research on that, and I will try to collect that information, and probably I will talk with Professor Charzak regarding that one, and I think he can later pass it to you.
Can I make a comment?
Yes,
yeah, the reason I asked the first question was, as you have mentioned, in the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami, there were some questions raised in academic papers of the possibility of submarine landslide, because you have a lot of sediment coming down from the rivers.
Big rivers
yes,
are carrying a lot
yes.
of sediments.
And although you have this, what they call continental shelf to protect you, but many do not know whether, there is possibility of submarine landslide. So that's why I want to know whether you have any information or any updates on that, you see. Okay. Two, I think more specifically, as you say, since you say sea level rise related to climate change is being considered, what are the measures do you have, taken already, in Bangladesh? Do you see any measures taken on the coast? Do you build dikes?
Yes. Okay, I will save some light. Okay, thank you for that one. Now I got the cue. From 2015 to 2020, we have undertaken one project to assess all the sea dikes. All the sea dikes, it is funded by JICA, and I'm also part of it. So our university, together with some Kyoto University in Japan, we have undertaken a research project, and we have assessed all the sea dikes. And one of our team has generated cyclones, artificial cyclones based on, because why artificial cyclones? It is developed together with the Mike system. Probably there is a software called Mike 3D. And together with that one, they generated artificial cyclones, and they have tried to find out how much, because they have also bathymetry data all over the coastal area of Bangladesh. And because to generate the cyclones, they need that, and they generated artificial cyclones, and they have also verified it with 1991 cyclone and 2007 CIRDAP, and they try to find out how much thrust force will be put on the sea dikes. So our team assessed those one, and from our side, since basically I'm a geotechnical engineer who deals with all this, although my field is earthquake engineer, but I have also geotechnical engineering background during my master's. So I know all about the sea dikes and embankments. So what we have done is taking this thrust force due to cyclones and wind force, we have put those on those sea dikes and found out that, and we have also carried out a lot of, in situ testing on those sea dikes. So we know the soil conditions over there, and we have found out that if another large cyclone happens now, many of the sea dikes will collapse. Because in 2007 Sidor and 2009 Ayla and other recent cyclones are mostly damaged our Sundarban area, which is mainly mangrove forest. But if similar cyclone of 1991 happens again, whether we can really sustain, that will be a challenge. Because after the 1991 cyclone, all the cyclones are mainly happen in the Sundarban coast, where the mangrove forests are. So if 1991 cyclone really happens, then how much our cyclone dikes can sustain? Because all our infrastructures, like all our big industry, are in the Chittagong area, in the EPZ. We call export processing zones in Kornfuli EPZ and Chittagong EPZ. So if a large cyclone happens, all of our infrastructure will be gone. Even our port system will be gone. So that's why we assess that one. And we have found out that if a large cyclone happens, many of our dikes will not be cannot sustain. So that's why we propose to the government to take action. Especially our Water Development Board is responsible. So we have already proposed to them that the dikes are not in very good shape. So you take action. So from our side, we have done that. But now we need to see how the government take action.
Okay, thank you. Just one last comment, because you talk about the dikes. Okay, fair enough. I got a rough picture. But you also talk about the mangrove coast at the Sumbadans. All right. Are you using what we call nature-based solutions? That is,
yes,
the mangroves to a large extent or not, in Bangladesh, because the literature in the world, sea level rise literature, pinpoint that Bangladesh is the world's most vulnerable country, you see. So I want to know, are you doing anything with mangroves?
Mangroves, not that much. Mangroves are naturally grown, but although government is trying to keep it intact, and also in the although there is so many large infrastructure projects being built, there is another mangrove, small mangrove forest in the I forgot the name. It is called where we are now constructing large ports. It is in the Coxbazar area. So there is Sonadia. There is a large mangrove forest in Sonadia coast, but government is now constructing power plants and also new ports are being built over there. So they're cutting it. But there is some team in Bangladesh who are working with Vetibird. Vetibird, I don't know, you probably know about the Vetibird. Vetibird is a natural, how to say it, kind of growth, and they can sometimes be used to keep the embankment intact. So there is some research from our university and some other universities where they are trying to grow the Vetibirds in the coast areas so that they can naturally protect those areas. But Vetibird is not that effective. I know mangrove is much more effective, but since we are our population density is very high and we are making so many infrastructure like Paira Port, Sonadia Port, so it will be very difficult to restore or keep those mangrove forests in those areas. Sundarban is so far intact, but Vetibird are recently being used in many of the embankments.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Professor Ansary, there are a few questions regarding the earthquake from
I will try to get hold of that one.
from Dr. Rashman.
Okay, I will.
He mentioned about early warning.
Yes, it's true. It is true. Yesterday we have a meeting. In fact, today it is also going on because our institute, what I was the founder director, they are holding a 2-day workshop, and we have taken up one project with Bangladesh Med Department recently, where we are putting, because EW system in Japan, their early warning, earthquake early warning system is being implemented in Indonesia and in many countries, in Mexico, in Japan also. So that we have the problem is because I was trained in Japan, and while I was doing my PhD at that time, Japan has only 200 instruments, seismometer, all along their coast. Now they have almost 1,500 seismometer. But Bangladesh has so far only 10 seismometer, broadband seismometer, and they are being used by Bangladesh Med Department to forecast earthquake, or not forecast, but to measure earthquake. So now those 10 equipments together with our BUET team and University of it is Hokkaido University. Together with the Hokkaido University, they are now using it to predict the early warning system and develop the early warning system for Bangladesh. So it is under process. So yesterday we have a presentation from Tohoku University and also our BUET team regarding that one, and also Med department. So it is, as you mentioned, from Indonesia, that Indonesia is also being mentioned over there, because Indonesia, Mexico, and Japan, they have all the early warning system. So we are developing, but I think yesterday I was commenting that the number of equipment is still too low. We need to deploy more broadband equipments, because only 10 cities have been has those broadband equipments. We need more equipments. As I mentioned, Japan has almost 200 back in 1991. Now they have 1700. But at least we need to deploy more equipments if we want to develop this early warning system. Because for early warning prediction, you need more equipments. And next is the geology may be a key factor on minimizing the loss, because Bangladesh is located on soft. It's true, as I mentioned, that we are trying to develop the 3D model, soil model for our cities.
Professor Ansary,
Yeah.
do you hear me?
Yes, I can. Hear.
Okay, because you see that I have also think about this also. I don't think that we can really make early warning for earthquake at the moment. And one of the most important, you have done the vulnerability assessment. So you know that when the earthquake occur, it will impact on the buildings, especially in major cities. You mentioned Dhaka, Chittagong, and Sylhet.
Yes.
So it is very important to let people understand the situation because of the place where they are living. How are they going to run away from the building in time of earthquake? Because you will not be able to inform them in, let's say, like tsunami issues. It's just happened in a second, and then you need to make decision right away. So preparedness and response is the most important aspect of earthquake at the moment. The technology you mentioned.
Early warning system is only for infrastructure
maintenance. Right. But for people, you still is difficult. But it will be connected to the next question by Mr. Supawat, who asked you about the data information sharing database system dashboard among relevant rescue, and how are you going to inform citizens? For example, through smartphone or anything that they can check the real-time information, something like that. So, do you have that in Bangladesh?
Yeah, let me clarify regarding the flood. Regarding the flood, our national agency, government, like Minister of Disaster Management, together with CGIS, one of the this is a kind of consultancy firm, but under the government of Bangladesh, under the Minister of Water Resources, they have developed one system. So if there is any flood, they can warn through a mobile app. But regarding the others, they are not, so far they have not developed that one. But what the government has generated, they have developed a database, but it is not being shared with all the, how to say, all the citizens. But government has a database where they have put all the hospital, how many hospitals they have, how many, how to say it, doctors they have, and how many, and what are the, how to say it, what are the other, like the fire service agencies. So all these are connected, but the reality is in real disaster system, how it will act, that we need to see. The government has recently developed, in fact, 10 years back, they have developed the first database where they have put all the resources to be used. And Armed Forces Division has also chalked out that one contingency plan and other things. But in reality, whether they can really use it, we have not seen so far. Because after the 2000 CIRDAP, we have found out that Armed Forces Division is doing all the work. but there is lack of coordination between the NGOs and the Armed Forces Division and the government. Similarly, so we need to establish the Emergency Operations Center, because EOC will be responsible to maintain all those stuff, all this information. So during a disaster, all the information will be collected through EOC, and they will analyze those very quickly, and they will send the necessary directive to the necessary agencies. But that system has not been established in Bangladesh yet, so that whenever you see any large disasters happening, the coordination is not there. So we are still suffering from the coordination. So whatever we are saying, still to materialize those things, we need a proper EOC system. Regarding the Delta plan, okay. Yes, in Delta plan, they have chalked out those things. I have gone through those, but as I mentioned, in reality, how to implement those, it will be a challenge. What is happening in Bangladesh, the donor agencies are giving a lot of funds. The funds are being channelized. But whenever they are leaving, when the project is closed, how to manage those, and how to implement those, and how to carry out or sustain those, the system has not been developed here yet. So all those projects I am talking about, I know about those, but whenever the ministry people leave that place, they forget about it, and the people who are left behind, they do not know about all those actions, all those projects being carried out. That is a real challenge in Bangladesh.
Okay, there's still 20 minutes. If anyone like to ask question, please, because this is a good opportunity for you to discuss with the person who know everything about disaster management in Bangladesh.
I have a question.
Okay, please.
I have a question regarding earthquake. You have mentioning a lot of things. As I'm Bangladeshi, I know that there are some conditions in Dhaka city. My question is, we know that there has a lot of underground gas pipeline in Dhaka city. So do you have any plan or actions taken regarding this situation? Because we know that if any major earthquake happens, then it would be a big disaster. So what is your comment?
No, it is true.
Regarding underground gas line.
The government has, I will tell you. In fact, I have not talked about my research, but for the last couple of years, we have done so many works. So we have find out all the pipelines in Dhaka. We have a GIS map developed by our students, and we know that what are the pipelines are there. But the government, not the government, the Titas gas and because you are talking about the gas system, and gas system is the most vulnerable. In Japan, many places, due to the gas supply system, gas pilferage, lots of secondary disaster like fire happens. So after the 2015 Nepal earthquake, government has given directive to Titas gas so that they develop their own warning system. So if there is some, because in Japan, during my PhD, I have done this kind of work for the Tokyo Gas Company. We have developed a system where if a certain level of ground vibration happens in any place, then they automatically stop the gas supply system, and the additional gas in the pipeline, they vent out in the air. So that kind of system we tried to develop with our Titas gas. But after the 2015 government directive, the Titas gas start talking with us. Then after 2 years, they again forgot about it. So the problem, as I have mentioned, our government institutions cannot sustain anything. So what is happening is, whenever there is a large disasters happening around us, we try to remember that, and we try to do something. But after a couple of weeks, couple of months, we forget about it. So sustainability and implementation is a big challenge here. So government officially, Honorable Prime Minister has given directive, as I have shown, but few of them are being implemented. But we have all the resources, we know how to do that. There is the knowledge is there.
Okay, that means still now
nothing has been done. Nothing has been done because we have already assessed. Yes, but we know how much damage will be there. so that, and all the soil condition is known. But the problem is, if the Titash or the water sector or the electricity company do not do anything, we cannot motivate them. So government has given directive after the 2015 Nepal earthquake. That is for sure.
Okay. Professor Ansary, can you speak a little bit on COVID and air pollution, please?
Air pollution I can, because we are now taking one small project with the University of Tokyo regarding the air pollution. Probably you know, we have lots of brick field all around Dhaka city. Although government has given directive to stop brick kilns, but originally all our brick kilns use trees. That means wood. But now they are being converted to gas. But the problem is, other air pollution is for the large infrastructure. If you go to Dhaka, in any place where the infrastructure is being built, I have read so many tender documents. In the tender documents, there is the allocation. If if they are constructing any new infrastructure, they need to cut ground. So whenever they cut ground and they do not hide it with grass, automatically due to wind, there is a lot of air pollution. But the tender document has the provision to, to manage that one. That the money is allocated. But in reality, in Dhaka city, this has not been done. So you can see in the Gajipur area, if you go in the Gajipur area, we are constructing big flyovers over there for BUET. And there is a lot of air pollution because the pilings are being built, but all the roads underneath, there is exposed soil. So automatic air pollution there. So how to reduce the air pollution? The tender documents already talked about it. They have the provision, but in reality, the contractor is not doing that, and our engineering community who are maintaining that one or who are the supervisor for that, they are not implementing. So as I have mentioned earlier, implementation is a big challenge. Funding is there, money is not there, but proper implementation, if we cannot implement it properly, it will never happen. Because I have seen in other countries, they are constructing so many infrastructures, but air pollution is not a problem. But in our country, Dhaka city and Chittagong city, you will see lots of infrastructure being built, air pollution is there. It is brick kiln is one factor, but now government has said to the brick kiln manufacturer that they should use gas instead of wood. So automatically it has reduced a lot. But the problem is large infrastructures, the contractors are doing that. So if you go around Dhaka city, wherever there is a large infrastructure projects, there is air pollution.
Professor Ansary, may I intervene at this moment? Because when you say about construction in Dhaka, you see in Bangkok few years ago, I think that the government has issued rules for construction that they need to put a kind of something to protect the dust from the building to fly around the building place, something like a net that you have to surround the building, and that become the regulation. But in Dhaka, I don't see anything like that at all.
That is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There is implementation. Funding is there. I have gone through the documents, the tender document. They clearly mention you cannot allow air pollution to be there because the funding is there, so that they should use that fund. But the problem is none of the agencies use that fund. They keep it in their pocket. That's the problem. So if you go through all the infrastructures, so government laws are there, but another problem is DOE. Department of Environment is also a kind of responsible. They need to
Have you or any organization have done kind of research on?
No, we have started.
No. I mean that the pollution, the air pollution. How many percent they are from construction?
There is. I do not remember, but BUET has done.
How many percent from the exhaustion?
PPM, I understand.
And how many percent from whatever the factory?
I will try to get hold that report. I think there is a report by BUET because we have done that kind of study.
Yeah, we have information for Thailand. You know.
No, I think we have it. We have it somewhere.
You have it.
I will look for it. Yeah.
All right. Then my second question is on the project that we wrote together on landslide. that we
I'm
want
still
to share the
interested, but where
experience
is
with
it?
Thailand. We could not get funding from some organization. Do you have this kind of funding? We can work right
Okay,
away.
let me talk because I'm now currently talking with University of Tokyo.
Okay.
I've already discussed this one. Two things we want to do. One is landslide. So I have also talked about you and your organization. So
Yes,
University of Tokyo, there is a new professor. We are working with his team, and he has
right.
interest on air pollution and landslide.
Yeah.
So in November or December, I have a meeting with them. So I will talk again, and I will let you
Okay,
know what happens.
that will be great. And another one that I think that I like to work with BUET. This
Okay, no
is
problem.
what Mr. Supawat mentioned. It's to kindly develop a decision support platform for
Okay.
Bangladesh on multi-hazard uh, and be able to have integration of information from different agencies,
Okay.
be able to provide decision support maker with what to do in case of emergency, as well as in the next step to inform the citizen through this kind of smartphone technology. So I think that if you have any connectivity with, let's say, USTDA or USAID, that we could develop the platform together.
Okay,
And for
USAID, one
yeah,
of my students is working there. Okay, let me talk
right.
with him,
But you
whether they're
know,
interested or not.
For CIRDAP, we particularly focus on rural areas.
I know.
So in our case, so we can share information when you look at the urban, CIRDAP will look at the rural.
Okay,
So in this case, we have a complete information from both sides, you know.
okay,
So
okay,
we work together in order to do it for Bangladesh as example for other countries.
okay,
So
okay. I
I
will look
look
into it.
forward to working with you on this one.
Okay. Air
Okay,
pollution and landslide will be
yeah,
a new thing, so I will
right,
work on
right.
it and I'll let you know.
Okay, we have 10 minutes to go. Any question more? Please use this opportunity.
Uh, Thank you very much, Mr. Bepat, for give the opportunity of question. So many risk factor you, Mr. Mehedi Ansary, you find out and how to solution and mitigation in your presentation we see. So my last question, as a citizen, many risks come to us suddenly in my family or me. So how I protect in suddenly, and in your presentation we may see any tools or any idea within short time how to protect the risk. Even in our country, in Bangladesh, in the school level, no have training how to develop our next generation, how to train up our children. Oh, suddenly come the risk, how we protect. Even you see in the Japan, and in the Thailand also, the training their children in the school boy or girl, how to protect. So have any program how to train up our people, rural area or city area, special school or university. But we never see like that. Very few amount of program we see. So what is opinion about this, about the training of people, acknowledgement, how to protect the risk?
Okay, in fact, in my life from 2010 to 2019, I have done several kind of this kind of. It is very difficult for us to continue.
I do not follow Professor Ansari. Maybe my internet connection or because of
Okay, I
his.
think Mr. Anwar Hussain
Okay.
can hear me. What we have done is we have focused into two schools, one ladies school and one boys school in Old Town. And for the last 10 years, we have done significantly because every year we train some school children and we have some mock drill. As I mentioned before, government has done that, but personally, our institute, our university, we have done this kind of training. So that because if we can train school children regarding those earthquake-related issues, what to do during and after, then they can also teach their parents. And we have how to say, published so many pamphlets, so many posters over there, and we have also trained the local scouts and local, they in each school they have Red Crescent volunteers, and also they have scouts. So also we have trained them so that they can do this kind of stuff. And another issue is just an imagination. For government agencies, we have also developed government agency and universities, because I teach earthquake engineering course in BUET and also in Dhaka University. So we are also in my course, I also teach just imagination thing. Just imagination is a thing, because about earthquake, there's many things is happening. If you cannot, if the students, if the volunteers cannot imagine how the earthquake will affect their life, daily life, you cannot do anything. So for that, Japan has developed several comic books. So customizing, we have customized that one, and we have translated into Bengali. And what we do, first, without teaching anything, we ask students or volunteers to write what they can do just after an earthquake next 2 hours. We have found out they cannot write anything, because they cannot imagine. So after teaching them about earthquake, say 2 or 3 courses, 2 or 3 days, then again we ask them to write what they can do after an earthquake. Because just after an earthquake, you can see that earthquake happens only for 20 seconds. But within the 20 seconds, their life can be upside down, because they are all buildings surrounding may collapse, their own building may collapse. So say if his building is or her building is earthquake state, they can survive. But after 20 seconds, when they go to the window and they see everywhere, lots of things happen. And they need to know how their parents, how their relatives are there in other parts of the cities. So each and every seconds after an earthquake, they need to know how they will survive, when they will, when they need to run safe, hand on their head, safe place. And after the earthquake, they need to go down. They need to talk with their parents. They need to talk with their other relatives whether they have survived. Then they need to go to nearby shelter or school buildings. And that's why Raju Projects has identified almost 5,000 school buildings, and they have identified whether they are safe. So after the earthquake, they need to go there for the shelter, because unless until the government check their building for whether it is safe or not, they cannot go back. So these kind of things need to be implemented, imbued in all these citizens and also government agency people, because if the government agency people do not have safety for their own, like fire school, as fire officers, then the hospitals, they cannot help the other things. So safety first, you need to imagine the earthquake, then help others. So that kind of thing we have started, but government needs to go out, and government needs to, because if you do not know what will happen during an after earthquake, you need to imagine. Otherwise, you cannot help others. So that is the key part, and that kind of thing we have started recently.
Okay, thank you very much. Though for internet we not clearly, but I understand what you want to say. 80% I understand. Okay, thank you very much.
May I intervene here, Mr. Anwar Hussain? In fact, I am in Bangladesh for 1 year now, but we propose at the moment 2 project proposal together with three proposal with Professor Ansary. When I first arrived in August, we submit 1 project to Innovate UK for the earthquake, and we plan to engage the community to let them understand and know how to plan and prepare and respond on the earthquake. That is 1 project. The second project, we prepare for COVID-19 in school, but the funder, the Canadian local initiative, did not provide funding because schools still closed. So we don't get the budget. And the last one is on the earthquake in Sylhet that I present last year at the Emergency Management Society, that we want to do it in selected school in Sylhet for school preparedness and response. So for the community base, we have in mind how are we going to connect with people and the young student in school and so on, because we know that they are having high vulnerability due to disaster. So, however, even though this kind of activity doesn't use a lot of money, but it's difficult because people mainly not really interested in this kind of activity, because it needs a long-term plan, and knowledge building is very important for us. But however, we need to work together with Professor Ansary, trying to find funding support on this issue. So
Yes.
hopefully we can manage from now on, right, Professor Ansary?
Let us hope and see what happens, because due to
Okay.
COVID situation, many things happen, but now I think it will open up.
All right. All right. Well, I think that now is the time. I hope that you find this webinar useful. We plan to organize next year a series of webinar, and we like to get more country to involve for sharing of their experiences as a panel, so that we can learn from each other and be able to know how other country manage different disaster. So I'd like to again thank Professor Mehedi Ansary very much for your presentation, and for participants for your comments and questions. I hope that we will continue to collaborate with BUET and other partners in building the resilience for Bangladesh and for other countries in Asia and the Pacific region. So to this end, I'd like to wish you having a great day on International Day for Disaster Risk Reduction. Thank you very much, and have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.